Come on, Ray.
Early on, Karen was more dominant than I was. She used to tear me up.
I think I'm gonna have to marry this girl.
Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 11. And before we get into it, let me just say, I personally would have preferred had the episode started at Karen's party and we had just gone the whole episode at Karen's house. Because the last 10 minutes of this episode were the best in my opinion. The first half of this episode was pretty much filler. And while I'm ecstatic that the women have been able to get along and film together, nobody's divided, we're not seeing people not speaking, I love that. But the last few episodes have been a bit mid, but I am hoping that the rest of the season does pick up. Now, Miss Jacqueline, come here real quick, but you have to go down as one of the thirstiest friends of the show that I've ever seen. And that's across all the cities. You want to show up to somebody's house uninvited? Are you serious? And what makes things worse is that you seem to be proud of being a weirdo. Is the self-esteem in the home? Because girl, what's going on? And what's even crazier is that you are crashing out over the day rate, craft services, and a free gas card. That's sad. But without further ado, let's just get right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode with Mia, and I'm gonna let you know something right now. I'm gonna skip right past this scene because I don't care. And on top of that, if I see Mia in another spandex onesie, I'm going to scream. She must have a closet full. And it's so funny to me because just a few episodes ago, she was reading her best friend Jacqueline down, saying that Jacqueline can't dress, but girl, you can't dress either. But I don't have anything more to say about Mia other than her kids are adorable, and it's really a shame that their mom is sitting up here playing in our faces like this, exploiting them for entertainment and a check. And one more thing, Bravo, please don't ever start off an episode with Mia. We don't want to see it. Don't start with her or end with her. So now we jump on over to Stacey, Jazelle, and Karen meeting up for lunch, and we cut to Stacey's confessional, and she says that when she first joined this group, Karen told her that this group is all about sisterhood, and then she points out how Jazelle has a very prickly outer shell, but deep down inside, Jazelle is soft and cuddly, and they're going to be besties. Now I said, Stacey, I'm sure you've watched this show. You've seen Jazelle's track record. Soft and cuddly on the inside is not Jazelle. Is she doing better this season? Yes. But I still would not say that she's soft and cuddly. So girl, if you have plans to try to get, close to Jazelle, just relax, take it down a few notches, and just go day by day. Because gunning to be Jazelle's BFF, there's a very good chance that that won't happen, okay? So now they're ordering their entrees and their drinks, and one thing about it, Karen has made sure not to slip up because every time she's out, she's ordering a ginger ale. I said, listen, I know that's right. She has this case looming over her head. She's not trying to be caught with any alcohol, and I get it. And I'm pretty sure that Karen's court date is this week too. But anyhow, I digress. So now Jazelle starts asking Stacey about TJ. She's like, oh, how's TJ doing? And Stacey says, oh, he's in LA right now, but he's actually gonna be back here in the afternoon, and he's gonna be here for Karen's Love Lagoon party. So now Jazelle turns to Karen and she's like, oh my gosh, Karen, what is this Love Lagoon party? Like, girl, what are we doing? Why is it even called that? So Karen says that she loves throwing a love theme party and how this Love Lagoon party is meant to be about sex, love, joy, just all that good stuff. Now, personally, I feel like these love parties, especially on the Housewives, that's just another way for people to know your business and to get some ideas. So Stacey wants to know, will there be games? And Karen says, oh yeah, we're gonna have games. And Stacey says, great, because me and TJ want to win all of them. And I said, now girl, this party is about love and sex. So there's no love or sex in what you have going on with TJ. So I don't know how you expect to win any games, but okay. Now, anytime TJ's name gets brought up, you can expect for Jazelle and Karen to start grilling Stacey on her man. So Jazelle wants to know if TJ's also working when he comes to visit Stacey in DC. And Stacey says no, he auditions in LA, but when he's here, it's pretty much his downtime. Now, what I took from that is when he's in DC, he's staying with Stacey because he's too broke and or too cheap to get a hotel. And I still can't get over how they have yet to go on an actual date. He's always at her place, and when he is talking about a date, it's going to the zoo, which is free there, or working out, which is also free. And I still can't get over how that grown-ass man sat up there on national TV making her that cheap off-brand frozen pizza from her freezer and served her that 25-cent hug drink from the corner store. Like, what are we doing? And Stacey, you were sitting up there showing all 32 teeth. I'm like, Miss Girl, are we okay? Is everything all right? So Jazelle says, Stacey, that's cool and all, but you need to figure out what you actually like. And Stacey says, but I like TJ. I said, how do you like this man? You guys aren't even dating. I don't know what you guys are doing. The way he spoke to you at Wendy's party, these free dates, what's there to like? I'm confused. And you know it's bad when even Jazelle and Karen are both staring at you like you're crazy. Jazelle was like, Stacey, stop it. So now Jazelle says, look, Stacey, we just want you to have more penises. And Stacey says, oh my gosh, stop it. Don't say that. And Jazelle says, yes, girl. I mean, come on. You're going from a 16-year marriage to TJ. So now Karen interjects and she says, Stacey, how long have you known TJ? So Stacey says, oh, about a year. And now Karen cuts back in and says, girl, don't nobody know anybody after only a year. Please stop. So Stacey says, well, I know that he's a God-fearing man. And Jazelle says, what? Who? Honestly, I think that this whole thing about him being so God-fearing and holy is just another way to cover up that he's cheap, repressed, doesn't like her, and a whole host of other issues. But I'm not buying this whole act. I'm sorry, y'all. The way he spoke to her was alarming. There's no romance between them. I don't see any chemistry whatsoever because there are still religious men who will still show you that they want you. I'm just saying, I'm not buying this whole thing. I'm not. Something in the milk ain't clean. And honestly speaking, I believe that TJ's with Stacey for money, opportunities, clout, because that conversation that he had with Ray, when he was telling Ray all about how much the QVC hosts make for their bonuses, I think he said that they make about 60 grand in a bonus. And he was like, yeah, I mean, that's great money, man. And I'm thinking,
no.
But I just feel like this man is using her, and the constant questions about mediation and has she settled the splitting of the assets between her and her soon-to-be ex-husband, that's a bit alarming. I was always raised that a man should not be asking about a woman's purse, and a man asking you about how much money you make or how much money you have or who's giving you this or that, you need to run.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun. I gotta be good.
I just feel like TJ's an opportunist and he's using Stacey for several things and none of them are love or romance. Now when Karen is in her bag, she has me screaming. The confessional shade, the one-liners this season have been on point. I can always give people their 10s. Because when she said, girl, don't look for a connection in the church because these men are in the church looking for the same thing. They want some booty. So now we cut to Stacey's confessional and she says that she's not worried about what TJ does when he's in LA. And then she says everybody needs to worry about their men or the lack thereof. Now, Stacey, you trying to throw shade about somebody not having a man. Baby, you don't have a man either. So I don't know what you're talking about. You're a beautiful woman. I'm confused as to how you're into TJ in the first place. Like, I don't get it. This man is offering nothing. You're the one doing all the heavy lifting and accepting crumbs. Having TJ is not a flex whatsoever. I know a lot of y'all feel like Stacey is playing up this whole ditzy act for the cameras, but I actually believe that Miss Mamas really is like this in real life. Like, I don't think that this is an act, because you can only fake this for so long. And we are 11 episodes in. I really believe that Stacey might not be the sharpest tool in the shed. And that scares me. So now we jump over to Wendy. She's at this cute boutique, and Wendy, Miss Mamas, this pink outfit, you look so good. I said, girl, you ate that right on up. I said, chef's kiss, okay? It was giving Barbie. I was here for it. So now we see Mia arrive, and I have to say, this blonde on Mia, I don't think it's flattering. I feel like it washes her out. I think if she did maybe a darker blonde, it would look a lot better. But I feel like this platinum blonde that she's sporting is not doing her any favors. And I'm like, Mia, you've already got a lot going on, but I just want you to get the blonde that suits your complexion, because this platinum blonde, it's not doing it for me, girl, but if you like it, I love it. So now we see Jazelle, Ashley, and Karen arrive, and Jazelle says that Wendy's doing the most because Wendy sent them a group text saying, come and meet me at this store. I want to talk to y'all about something. So Giselle's like, girl, what is this announcement? Now, I was also surprised because I said, we all know that shopping and style is not Potomac's strong suit. So seeing you guys all together shopping, I don't know about this, but I guess. So Mia's questioning Ashley about, does she shop here? And Ashley says, oh, I actually do. And Michelle dresses me all the time. Now, to Michelle, if you are actually styling Ashley, then you don't have a good eye either, because we see what Ashley wears. The only people who dress well on this show, for the most part, Wendy, Karen, and Kiana. The three of them are carrying Potomac on their backs. And speaking of this cast can't dress, Jacqueline arrives, and when I tell you, Jacqueline, girl, what was this? That dress was so dated, it didn't even fit the occasion. I'm just like, girl, it's daytime, afternoon, a cute shopping day with friends, and you show up in this club dress from 2015. And I promise, I'm not trying to be mean, but Jacqueline's energy is just so all over the place. It's unsettling. I've said that before, but her vibe is very off-putting. So Wendy gives Jacqueline a hug. She's like, oh, hey, girl, how are you? Long time no see. And Jacqueline's like, yeah, because I haven't been invited to stuff. And they all look at her like, girl, what? Karen makes a face because we know that Karen can't stand her. And Ashley's confused. She's like, girl, what events are you talking about? Because we last saw each other at Wendy's party. So again, girl, I'm confused. Like, what are we saying here? And I said, Jacqueline, just be happy that you're here at the boutique today with Wendy and the rest of the ladies. And even if they did have other events that you weren't at, that's usually how it goes when you're only a friend of. So we see Kiana show up. She looks good. And now we have Wendy making her announcement. So Wendy starts it off by saying, as you guys know, I've entered my new chapter, chapter 40, and a lot of you guys are all doing new things in your lives too. So I was thinking that we could do a liberation celebration in Panama. So everybody starts cheering, they're excited, and Wendy says, yes, girls, we're going to Central America. So now we cut to Ashley's confessional, and she says that she can't wait, she's excited, she wants to see the Panama Canal. And now we cut to Kiana's confessional, and Kiana was definitely a Debbie Downer. She's like, I mean, it's not really my style. I prefer European cities. Give me champagne and caviar. Give me Italy. And Miss Kiana, I have to be fair and I have to whack you for that because that was ignorant. Some thoughts need to stay up here. Everything that we think does not need to come out of here. And that was one of those times where you need to be appreciative, be grateful, and just say thank you. For all my SLC watchers, that's up there with Lisa Barlow's statement when she said earlier this season that she can't get with the food in Italy because the food in Italy is too fresh. And I said, girl, what? And Miss Kiana, girl, the girls on social media are low-key feeling like you're not that interesting for you to have all this dip on your chip. I'm just repeating what the girls are telling me on social media. I'm just saying, a lot of the fans are feeling like you could have stayed as a friend of because you're not really giving as a full-time cast member. So I'm just saying, girl. I'm just saying. And quick question, is this Wendy's first time hosting a trip? I think it is. I feel like everybody has hosted a trip except for Wendy. So I'm happy to see that Wendy is going to be the hostess, and I really hope that this trip goes well. So we see half of the group trying on clothes, and now we see Wendy, Mia, and Ashley eating because the store had a nice charcuterie spread. And I said, thank God we're seeing some good food on Potomac. So Wendy's asking Mia who is going to accompany her to Karen's Love Lagoon party. And Mia says, well, I was thinking about bringing Jacqueline since she is my lesbian lover. And one of y'all had me screaming in the comments, you said that Mia has a husband, a boyfriend, and a girlfriend all on the damn show. And I said, y'all are not lying because yeah, Jacqueline and her mess around from time to time. You have Gordon, her soon-to-be ex-husband, living in the same apartment building. Then you have her new boyfriend, Ink. So yeah, she is a whole love rectangle all in one. So Mia points out that Jacqueline isn't invited, and then she wants to know, do you think that Karen will be okay if I bring Jacqueline? So you have Ashley saying, well, I'm with it. And I said, girl, we know. You're always with the mess. I said, Ashley, girl, you can be with it all you want, but it's not your party. You're not the host. Karen's the one with the final say-so. So now Mia walks over to Karen and she says, Karen, I just wanted to ask you about your party. On your invitation, you said that we can invite a special someone. And seeing that Gordon can't make it and Ink can't make it either because he's getting some award, I wanted to know. And before she can even say Jacqueline's name, Karen cuts her off and says, girl, no, like don't even try it. So Karen goes on to say, right now, I'm in a place in my life where I'm pouring into myself. I'm loving on myself and I'm setting boundaries. I said, I know that's right. And then she goes on to say that her home is her kingdom. And I said, exactly, Karen, let the good folks know. You guys have heard me many a times in many a recap talking about the importance of not having everybody in your home. And where you lay your head is your sanctuary. That's why I was so mad that season when Candace invited Ashley to her brand new home. I said, Candace, are you serious? I had to whack her several times for that. I said, girl, no. If you want to meet up with Ashley, meet up with her at a restaurant, at a bar, at a lounge, at the park, but not in your home. And I don't even know why Mia would think that Karen would be open to Jacqueline coming to her house. Mia, you could have saved your breath because you knew that Karen would say no. And even Karen said in her confessional, for Mia to even ask me that after Jacqueline has talked so badly about me, that's Mia being messy. Because why would she think that I would say yes to that? So now Mia says, well, okay, can I come solo then? And Karen says, of course, that's fine. But your friend over there, she's not invited. So now Mia walks over to Jacqueline to relay the bad news that Karen does not want her in her home and she's not invited. And now Mia goes on to say that Karen does not want any negative energy in her home. So Jacqueline says, well, that's fine. I didn't want to go anyway. And I said, Jacqueline, don't tell that lie. Because, Miss Mamas, your face was cracked when Mia told you that you will not be in attendance. You were hurt about it. You were visibly upset and visibly pressed. And one thing about it, I have too much pride. I do not want anything in this life that I have to beg for. That goes for love, invitations, opportunities of any sort, friendship. I don't want anything that is not given freely. I'll be damned if I'm begging for an invitation somewhere. Absolutely not. And then you have Jacqueline going off saying that that's why she no longer wants to extend the olive branch to Karen. I said, Jacqueline, you're upset because you started first about Karen's drinking and DUI. Then when she whacked you at Lake Norman, now you want to be upset? You can't start with folks first and then be mad at their reaction. I don't understand why you're playing victim here. But you effed around and you found out and now you're on the outs with Karen and now you want to be upset? Like, no, that's not how this works. And also, Jacqueline, you really can't be that pressed about not being invited to Karen's party when you're going on the trip. Be happy about that, because you could have also been excluded from the trip as well. So be thankful that you're going to be there in Panama with all the ladies, getting a free vacation and a check as well. So now Wendy walks over to Jacqueline and Mia and she says, let's have some peace in Panama. And Jacqueline says, of course. And then she starts asking Wendy about if she's gonna bring some Happy Eddie. And Wendy's like, no, but Eddie will be bringing some for you at the Love Lagoon party. Now I said, the shade of it all, because Jacqueline just found out 2 seconds ago that she's not invited. And the fact that Wendy's like, girl, well, we're gonna have some for you at the party, and she won't even be there, I said, a mess. And I said, Jacqueline, stop being so damn cheap. Go on the website and order some Happy Eddie then, if you want some so bad. I said, my God, girl, you are pressed for some freebies, aren't you? So now we cut to Kiana at home with her boyfriend Greg and her brother Brian. Now, a quick side note. The way y'all were lusting over Kiana's brother during this scene had me screaming. I must have seen about 30 posts on Bluesky with y'all saying, oh my gosh, he's so fine. Can we get more of him? I was like, oh my gosh. Y'all are too much. But anyhow, they pour up some shots and now they're toasting to Kiana's trip to Panama. So Kiana's like, oh, I was a bit confused when Wendy said Panama because I thought that it was like Panama City. I didn't know where that was. And then her boyfriend, Greg, he's correcting her. He says, oh, well, there are two. There's Panama City in Florida, and then there's Panama. And then Kiana's like, yeah, it's Panama, the country, because she did say Central America. Now I said, Kiana, you were trying to read Panama in the last scene saying, well, I'm not impressed. But the whole time you're thinking of Panama City in Florida. Girl, stop. I said, I'm sorry, Kay, but I cannot take you seriously when you say that. Before you start looking down your nose on Central America, sis, I'm going to need you to brush up on your geography, please. So Kiana says that the theme of the trip is liberation. She says, we have 3 divorces in this group. Jazelle's an empty nester. And Wendy's just turned 40. And now you have Greg being sarcastic and he's like, oh, 3 divorces? Is that because of the show? And then he says, there's a lot going on. And now we cut to Kiana's confessional and she says that Greg is still not 100% about being on TV. And while he's doing his best, it does feel like he's not that supportive of her. And then she says, it doesn't make her feel good. I'm gonna just say this outright. I've been holding this in for a long time. I've been trying to talk around it and beat around the bush, but I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I don't like Greg. I don't think that Kiana and Greg are a fit whatsoever. I think that Kiana could do 1,000 times better. Kiana, don't be upset, but that's how I feel. And no shade, but Greg acts a lot older than 42. I feel like 42 is still relatively young. And he acts like an old man. Like his whole demeanor, his whole vibe, I don't know. I just don't like it. And Kiana's so beautiful and so bubbly. I'm just like, Kiana girl, like where did you guys meet? I feel like Greg should be worshiping the ground that Kiana walks on. And he's treating her like he could take her or leave her, when in reality, it should be the other way around. Kiana girl, I want you with an athlete so bad. I also don't like how he's always pressing her about cooking. Like, I don't like that. He seems to be dangling the engagement in front of her because he knows that she wants that. I see a bunch of red flags, Kiana. I'm so sorry, girl. I feel like women who are successful, making a lot of money, especially women who are public facing, whether you're a reality star, a celebrity, I guess it's the same thing. You're famous, right? Different degrees of fame, but you're still famous altogether. If you're an influencer, content creator with a large following, a moderate following, you need to really vet men and make sure that they are supportive of you because, baby, the stories that I could tell y'all, a lot of these men, they can have great jobs, making great money, and they can still be jealous of you. You need to make sure that your man is on board, is supportive, They are rooting for you. They are cheering you on because I'm so sorry. You cannot have jealous friends and you cannot have a jealous man. And Greg is reeking of insecurity to me. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into it, but she needs to have somebody who's supportive. And for him to not be supportive of her and he feels away, I'm sorry. I don't see that working for the long term. I also thought it was troubling when Kiana said in her confessional that they have different values. And I'm like, a big part of a relationship lasting, especially a marriage, is that your values are aligned. For all my married people, can you please let me know down below in the comment section? Your values have to be like pretty much the same, correct? Yes, no, that's a huge thing. Kiana, it's not sounding good. And then for you to say that you value adoration and intimacy and he values respect, and then you went on to say that it's just too serious, where's the fun? Y'all are not even engaged yet and you're talking about where's the fun? You guys should be in the honeymoon stage as boyfriend and girlfriend. For you to be saying that you guys are on two different pages and your values don't align, this is not sounding good at all. And it's just so dumb that you're buying a house with him and you have all these issues and you're not even engaged, nowhere near marriage. Like, girl, what are we doing here? And then when Kiana's brother was joking around, asking about babies, he said like, oh, baby fever. And Kiana was like, child, please. I said, exactly. I said, Kiana, please. You guys have too many issues to be bringing in a child into this equation, okay? So girl, just stop. But I feel like a lot of us are on the same page about Kiana's boyfriend, Greg. We all see the red flags. A lot of us are not feeling him at all, right? We're all here. Yes, no, let me know. But I couldn't lie anymore. I've been trying to dance around it. I've been trying to sugarcoat how I feel, but I had to say it outright. I do not think that Kiana and Greg are a match at all. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys, but this scene with Stacey meeting up with her Aunt Dora, it was a cute scene, but I don't have a whole lot to say, so we can just skip right past it. So now we jump on over to Jazelle, and she's out on a date with the guy that she met at speed dating. His name is Namsa. Now, we know that Jazelle has a type because he looks just like Sherman. Now, I'm not going to spend so much time on this scene either because not a whole lot happened. But I will say that this date was cute. They're out salsa dancing. It was funny because Jazelle said, he clearly does not know me well because everybody knows that I can't dance. But Jazelle's asking him these rapid fire questions like Biggie or Tupac, LeBron or MJ. And then she's like, have you ever been in jail? Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been engaged or married? And he says no to all of them. So Jazelle's like, all right, okay. And then we cut to Jazelle's confessional and she says that she likes for her men to be a little bit mean to her. And I said, girl, at your big age, like what? Listen, I don't want any man being mean to me, okay? If he's mean, I'm out. The only one who's gonna be mean is me. But Jazelle goes on to say that she wants a man who is rough around the edges. I said, okay, Jazelle. But we see them dancing and it was funny because Namsa walked up to her and he was like, oh, hey, I'm Chocolate. What's your name? So she's like, oh, it's Ginger. I said, okay. I said, that's cute. Chocolate and Ginger. And I could actually see Ginger also being a good name for Jazelle too. Like that fits her as well. But you know, they're doing some salsa dancing and he's like, you know, Jazelle, you actually have some rhythm. You dance better than you think. And say what you want, but there was some chemistry between Jazelle and Namsa. So maybe this might go somewhere. But then again, we all know that Jazelle and Ashley did that Love Hotel show that's going to be coming out early next year. And I think Jazelle met somebody off of the show. So maybe her and Namsa are just friends now, who knows? So now we get to the day of Karen's Love Lagoon party and her and Ray are at home. When I tell you, Karen, you did your big one because the setup was flawless. The table outside is beautifully decorated. The floral arrangements. She has crab cakes, salad to start off with, these really nice blue Grand Dame teenies. I said, come through. Now, what really took me out was we see these mermaids appear and Karen hired them for the party. So they're going to be swimming in the pool the whole time. When I tell you that Ray had me screaming, the way he was drooling over the mermaids, he was like, hi, you know, my name is Ray. So he's cheering them on as they get in the pool. And Karen's like, Ray, why are you sitting over there cheering them on? Ray is too funny. And one more thing, I thought that Karen looked so pretty. I love that sexy, messy updo, that dress, the heels. I said, yes, ma'am. Karen looks good. When we talk about some of the best Housewives glow-ups, Karen is definitely in the top 3. Because from the time Karen joined this show to now, she looks phenomenal. She put her Housewives coins to work. So now we cut to Ashley and Jazelle on their way to Karen's. And mind you, they're in the car with their dates. So Jazelle brought Namsa and Ashley brought her date Josh. So Jazelle's prepping them both on Karen and Ray. And you have Jazelle being shady. She says Karen is like the elder statesman of our group. She's very seasoned. And her husband, Ray, is really seasoned. And I said, girl, say what you want about Miss Karen. She might be the elder statesman, but Miss Mamas does look really good. So not too much, Jazelle. So Jazelle says that she was nervous to tell her date about this party being called the Love Lagoon. And he says, well, if it makes you feel better, I have no idea what the Love Lagoon means, so it's fine. So Ashley says that she's also nervous to bring Josh and that she does feel protective of him. So now we cut right back to Karen's house and the Love Lagoon party, and Stacey and TJ are the first to arrive. Now, was anybody else surprised to see them holding hands? I feel like that's one of the few times I've ever seen them touch. They actually, for the first time, looked like a real couple. But anyhow, they arrive, and when I tell you, Stacey looked amazing, that body, I said, come through. I said, oh, Stacey, you look so good. So now we see Mia arrive solo, and now we see Jazzy and her man Darius arrive. Jazzy goes on to say that this bottle is from her family's vineyard. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Jazzy, it's clear that you come from a little bit of money. So to see you being desperate behind this NFL player who had 2 babies on you is quite sad. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes, because when you guys played that game, I said, oh, Jazzy, you were better off keeping quiet. And you made yourself look even worse. But again, let me not jump ahead. So now we see Wendy and Eddie arrive, and Wendy says, now I'm not saying that I inspired the girls, but let's just say that imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. And she's pretty much saying that Karen low-key copied the decorations of her 40th birthday party for her Love Lagoon event. Now we see Kiana and Greg arrive, and I said, now, for somebody who isn't happy to be on TV, he sure seems to be at every single event that involves all the couples. I thought he hated the camera so bad. Why is he at this now? So now Ashley and Jazelle arrive with their dates, and Karen greets them both. She's like, oh, when it comes to Jazelle's guy, he's too nice. She's gonna spit him out. So when I tell you, Karen had me screaming, because the way she was flirting with Josh, she was like, oh my gosh, Josh, it's so nice to meet you. Gave him a big old hug. So she says, oh, Josh is gorgeous. He's like a baby on a milk carton, like a carnation baby, just so cute. And I said, yes, Josh is cute, Karen. But I said, my God, girl, like, calm down. Now, Wendy was so shady, because when she saw Ashley's guy, she was like, oh, hey, is that Jack Harlow? Then she says that Ashley made a lateral move. I said, oh my gosh. I said, Wendy, girl, right out the gate, just shading. Anybody is an improvement from Michael Darby, okay? So as long as it's not Michael, I'm happy to see it. So the gang's all here, and Karen says, okay, guys, it's time for us to sit down and let's play a game. So this game is called Let's Turn Up the Heat. And when I tell you, Karen had me screaming, because she's like, Jazelle, make some space for your man. I said, oh my gosh, she just started dating this man. Now it's her man. And you could tell that Jazelle and Namsa were embarrassed. So now we see Mia sitting next to Jazelle, and she says, Jazelle, this is my first time seeing you with the man. Now, Jazelle, let me whack you. Because although your attitude has been 100 times better this season, I'm in shock that you are talking to Mia after what she said about your daughters 2 episodes ago. Why aren't you paying Mia dust? Because if I recall, if memory serves me correctly, not only did you refuse to speak to Candace or Wendy, but you accused them on the trip that they were making faces when you talked about your daughter. You had all this smoke for them, but Mia slut shames your daughters to your face, and you're still having a key with her at Karen's party? No, ma'am. Had Wendy or Candace ever said 1/10 of what Mia said about your kids, it would have been hell to pay. And Jazelle, that's why people always bring up the colorist allegations, because there seems to be a lot of grace for certain people, but anybody of this complexion, you want to hold a grudge, accuse them of this, that, and the third, because I can assure you, we would still be hearing about it till this day if Wendy or Candace ever said what Mia said about your daughters sneaking boys into the house. Jazelle, I can't respect that. You should be paying Mia dust the same way you paid Wendy and Candace dust all last season. So it's time for the game to start, and Karen says this is the love game. It's called Turn Up the Heat. And she says everybody has to answer the questions and participate. So she reads the first question, and of course it is shady as all hell. Karen's like, oh my Lord, Father Jesus, like, my God. So they're all like, girl, like, what is the question? And the first question reads, do you feel like your partner has ever cheated? So Karen turns to Ray and she says, baby, I don't think you've ever cheated. And Ray says, you'd be correct, I haven't. Now, the shade that Jazelle and Wendy threw, Jazelle says, well, obviously he's going to say that. And then you have Wendy saying, I mean, yeah, because who's going to say, oh yeah, baby, I cheated on you back in '86. Now, I know we joke on Karen and Ray a lot, but I really don't think that Ray has ever cheated on Karen. Now, here's where things get shady, because Ray turns to Karen and he says, baby, I don't think that you've ever cheated on me either. And Karen just smiles. So everybody's just looking, and I already know that somebody's going to bring up all the rumors about Karen having these affairs with the chauffeur and some random man in Vegas with blue eyes. We all know the rumors, right? So we cut to Jazelle's confessional and she's like, so you want to tell me that you've never cheated on Raymond? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I said, can we let this go? Now, we already know that Karen has low-key alluded that there might have been an arrangement, because Karen has joked about how she's allowed to have eye candy, and Ray did co-sign on that. Do I believe that Karen might have a side piece and Ray knows about it and he's like, just be respectful, don't flaunt it in my face? Yes, it would not surprise me in the least bit. Let's be so for real. Karen is a lot younger than Ray. She's 61, and I think Ray is 78, 79. He's close to 80. He's slowing down. She's revving up. She still looks amazing. It wouldn't be far-fetched if Karen does have somebody on the side that nobody knows about except for her and Ray. You know, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But I guess in a case like that, where the spouse is giving you permission to have a little side affair, it's not really cheating if they know about it and you guys have agreed to that. So technically, Jazelle, if they do have an arrangement, then Karen has not cheated. So Ray and Karen would be telling the truth. So now it's Stacey and TJ's turn, and Stacey says, well, despite what Jazelle has told me in the past, and now Jazelle's like, girl, why am I in it? And now Stacey brings up the lunch that she had with Karen and Jazelle a few days ago, where they were telling her that TJ probably has something going on in LA. And Jazelle said what pretty much everybody's thinking. She's like, well, honestly, I thought that you guys weren't a couple, so this question doesn't even apply to you. And I'm like, yeah, if you guys are not in a relationship, you guys are friends or best friends, then let's just skip this question because it does not apply. It's not cheating if you guys aren't together. So you have TJ talking about, well, honestly, Stacey, I have to agree with Jazelle. And Stacey looked embarrassed. I said, Stacey, if you don't let this man go, you guys are not together. If TJ is dating anybody in LA, which I highly doubt, but if he is, you can't be upset about it because that's not your man. You guys keep vacillating between we're best friends, but now we're together, but then we're only best friends, but then we are together. What are we talking about here? Ashley was so confused because she's like, wait, what are you guys? Are you guys together? Are you guys friends? Are you guys friends with benefits? No benefits? Like, let me know. Now, here's where I have questions, comments, and concerns because Stacey flat out asks, are you sleeping with anybody in Los Angeles? Now, TJ, this answer, what in the entire hell are you talking about? TJ says something about he has a Bugs Bunny stuffed animal on his bed. I said, sir, what? Everybody's confused. Jazelle's like, that's a horrible answer. For him to talk about he's a stuffed animal on his bed? I'm like, are you trying to joke around that you're having sex with a stuffed animal? Like, Stacey, what are we doing? I mean that in all sincerity. This man is, well, he's claiming that he's only 41. That's a hard 41, if I'm being honest. I thought he was in his 50s, but a grown-ass man at his big age joking about a stuffed animal on his bed when you ask him about sleeping with other people, that's alarming. I don't know how many red flags you need to see before you get it that this man is not into you. So now Jazelle says, honestly, TJ, we did tell Stacey the other day that she needs to try out some new penises, just, see what she likes. And it's no shade to you at all, but it is her journey. So TJ's like, I understand that, and as her friends, I understand why you would tell her that, but I'm just trying to be as transparent with her that I'm not seeing other people. TJ, you're not being transparent at all because you couldn't even answer a simple yes or no question when she asked you, are you seeing other people in LA? And you're talking about a Bugs Bunny stuffed animal on your bed. So now we get to Jazzy and Darius says, I don't think that my woman's cheated. So Jazzy says, well, the question asked about is how you feel, right? Well, I do feel like it is a possibility. So everybody gasps, they're in shock. I was gagged. I said, oh, okay, let's get into it. So Eddie had me screaming. He interjects and he says, clear it up, Darius, clear it up. So you have Darius giving that lame F-boy answer, and he's like, well, I feel like anything that happened before us, that's before us. And I said, wait, getting another woman pregnant twice while you and Jazzy were together, that's before Jazzy? Oh, okay, I guess. So now we cut to Jazzy's confessional, and she says, look, I already know that my man lied about a whole child before. And although I've never caught my man, I'm not an idiot. And I said, Jazzy, you sound like an idiot saying that. The way I'm just confused because you were trying to clean it up when you were telling the group about the whole timeline of events when you guys were on that trip earlier this season, and you were trying to act like it was all good. Now all of a sudden you're saying, well, I know that my man lied and, I'm not an idiot, but I do suspect some stuff did happen. I'm like, so why are you with him? Jazzy, if I were you, I would have said, I plead the fifth, no comment. I would not have answered because this makes you look crazy. And if you don't mind a little cheating or side baby, stop getting mad at content creators for reporting on the facts and the timelines and just accept what it is and don't get upset about it. So Wendy and Eddie both say no, and now we get to Greg and Kiana, and Greg says no because I have her followed, and I said, there's always a bit of truth behind every joke. Kiana, watch yourself because that man probably does have you followed. So now we get to Mia, and Mia's like, well, since Gordon's not here, I'm going to speak for him, but I'm going to say his answer would be no. So they're all like, wait, what? How is it a no? And now we play a flashback of how Mia was watching him and another woman go at it while she was sipping on champagne, enjoying the show. But I remember when Mia came on the show and told that story, She said that she gave him permission to do that and she enjoys that kind of thing. So yeah, on Gordon's part, that wasn't cheating because she was involved and she enjoyed and it was what it was. And then they ask her if she's cheated and Mia says, yes, I have. So when I tell you Stacey is so surprised hearing this, she's like, oh my gosh, it's like a witch's brew of infidelity. So now it's time for the next question. And y'all, I could not stop laughing because Kiana picks up the card. And before she reads it, she turns to TJ and she says, TJ, this one's for you, baby. It can give you some insight on what to do. I said, girl. I said, not you putting that man on the spot. I said, my God. And the question reads, are you more dominant or submissive in the bedroom? And Kay says, I only said that to you because you guys haven't done anything yet and you guys can both get a read on, what's what. And TJ says, wait, I'm not a virgin. When I tell you it's an awkward silence, you have Jazelle saying, wait, you're not? I said the shade of it all. Y'all, before anybody gets mad at me, I am not shading adult virgins, okay? Shout out to the virgins. Good for y'all. God bless y'all. You don't have to worry about STDs and all that stuff. So good for y'all. And there's nothing wrong with saving yourselves, okay? So I'm not laughing at anybody who happens to be an adult virgin. So don't get mad at me. I was just laughing because this whole situation was funny, okay? But shout out to the virgins out there. But TJ, I also have questions though when you make statements like you have a Bugs Bunny stuffed animal on your bed when somebody's asking you about are you having sex with other people. That kind of response did give that you haven't done anything. I'm just saying. Now, as they're going around asking who's dominant, who's submissive, there were a few people where they said they were dominant, and I said, really? I don't see it. I'll let you guess who I had questions about. But yeah, there were a few saying, oh yeah, I'm dominant. And I said, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But all right. And there were some people, I'm like, I don't even think that you'd be good in bed. You seem so stiff. And I'm going to just say it. Kiana and Greg, like, he's talking about he's dominant and all this stuff. I just said, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I wasn't surprised about Wendy and Eddie. I definitely see it. Eddie's dominant and Wendy's giving us schoolgirl, very demure, very mindful, honey. She said she's very shy. I can definitely see it. Ashley and Josh said that he's dominant, and then Ashley said, well, we all know that I play in several ponds. When I'm with women, I'm dominant. I can see that. When I'm with, guys, I'm Ashley, I'm submissive. I can see that too. I wasn't too surprised by Mia's answer when Mia said that when she was with Gordon, she was the dominant one. I could definitely see that. Yes. Yes. She was probably tying that old man up, honey, when she first met him. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I was not surprised. I'm sure she was doing all sorts of things to Mr. Brown to get that money. So anyhow, she says with Ink is the dominant one. He likes to choke her. Now, I don't understand why the Potomac girls swear they're so sex positive, and a lot of them swear that they're some freaks. The way they all gasped when she said that, I said, let me just be quiet. Let's just move on. But you have Jazelle saying, well, of course he strangles her because that's the only way he can reach her. Then you have Karen saying that he probably has to stand on an apple box to choke her out. Ashley talking about choking is scary. That blew me because I said, girl, you've had all types of group sex and orgies and threesomes, and you and Michael were doing all this. So to hear you get all prude, I just said, wait, what? Like, that's where you draw the line? I feel like that would be another Tuesday for you. But to hear you talking about, oh, I can't believe that. I said, oh, okay. Who knew? That's where you draw the line. So you have Jazelle's date saying that he's dominant, and then Eddie's like, oh, of course, because he's half Nigerian. So now Jazelle turns to Eddie and she's like, wait, what does that mean? And Eddie's like, exactly what I said. He's half Nigerian, so of course he's going to be dominant. And now Jazelle says, so what if I want to be dominant? And Namsa was not having it. He said, like, baby, I'm the only dominant one here. I said, oh, okay. Now we get to Darius and Jazzy. And when I tell you, Darius, I was not surprised by his answer at all. He's like, oh, I'm the dominant one. I handle mine. Like, I'm with all the choking, all that. Jazzy's trying not to blush. I said, girl, I see why you're putting up with these two side babies and all these side chicks. That's not funny at all, y'all. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. We're having fun. I do not condone cheating at all, okay? But I'm not surprised why she's putting up with it because the sex is probably so good. The only reason why I didn't do a live recap for this episode is because I knew at this part the chat would be out of control. You all would be trying to get into my business. So I said, you know what? Let's just do a pre-recorded. So now we get to TJ and Stacey, and Stacey says that, well, when the time comes, she'll definitely be more dominant. And now TJ turns to her and says, well, girl, just because I ain't sleeping with you right now, don't get it twisted. I'm going to always be the more dominant one. I said, oh, okay. I guess you and your Bugs Bunny stuffed animal. Just, y'all, this last scene had me in tears, okay, y'all? Like, I had tears coming down my eyes. A dominant man is not going to be sitting up here cooking up some cheap frozen pizza out my freezer. So Ray and Karen had me yelling. So Ray says, can I be honest? When me and Karen first got together, Karen was the more dominant one. When I tell y'all, Karen used to tear me up. Karen was so embarrassed. She had her head down. I said, girl, pick your head up. That's how you got the Black Bill Gates, mama. And then he goes on to say that he said, oh, I have to go marry this girl now. So Karen's like, oh my gosh, Ray. So Jazelle is so messy. She's like, so Ray, a few years ago, Karen told us that she retired her mouth. Would you like her to take it out of retirement now? And Ray says, absolutely. So the way everybody is screaming, I said, wow. I said, Jazelle, way to put Karen on blast like that. So Karen's like, thanks a lot, Jizzy.
So, Ray,
What's that?
Karen informed us a while ago that she retired her mouth. Would you like for her to come out of retirement?
Oh, my Lord.
Absolutely.
I will say that anytime the Potomac girls talk about sex, those usually are the funniest episodes because everybody's in a good mood. You know, they're laughing, being silly, and I really enjoyed this final scene. So we close out this episode with this very dramatic ending. We see this dog running up, and they're all like, wait, Karen, is that your dog? Do you have a dog? And Karen's like, no. So the next thing we see Jacqueline walking up with some balloons, and Karen gets up and says, oh no, oh no. And now we see a to be continued flash on the screens. Now, Jacqueline, I hope Karen wears you all the way out because how dare you? You don't ever show up to anybody's home uninvited. If somebody tells you they do not want you to ever show up at their door, you respect their wishes. And Jacqueline, you know good and damn well, if you tried this with somebody else without those cameras, it could easily end up in a different story. You don't play with folks like that. You never show up to anybody's house uninvited or unexpected. And the self-esteem truly is not there because what would possess you to want to come to somebody's party when they did not invite you? They told you, I don't want you there. I don't like you. I don't want that bad energy in my home. Leave me alone. And you still decide to pop up? Are you okay? There's something to be said about people who are okay being the butt of the jokes and the clown. And it seems like you have no shame and no pride because anybody with a crumb of dignity would never do that. When does the goofiness and the weirdness end? Who does this? But guys, that was my recap. Thank you all so much for watching. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.